Welcome back, everyone, and welcome back to Lost in the Dark podcast. Grip Crow, thank you so much for joining me tonight on this episode. This is, of course, a very special one. We have unbelievably special guests. We have Jeff, Dave, and Brian, of course, three members of the terrors from the South, the Texas terrorizers, fucking scream at the sky. The Texas Titans are here back on the show tonight. And this is an unbelievably great conversation that we have. I love getting to talk to these guys. I love seeing them live. They are absolutely phenomenal. Of course, we talk a lot about their brand new single, which was just released on January 24th, called Hard to Talk. I did a reaction video for it, so you can check that out. But of course, all things Scream at the Sky, links in the description below. And these guys are just absolutely some of my favorite people to talk to, and it's been amazing over the past couple of years getting to talk to them a few times, getting to see them live, meet them in person, all this and that. Like it's just like, yeah, they're definitely one of my favorites going out there right now. They have a bunch of tour dates coming up here over the course of the next few weeks, down in Texas, and fingers crossed we get to see them up here in Michigan sometime later this year. But without further ado, my friends, Crip Crew, join me in welcoming our friends all the way from Texas, Jeff, Dave, and Brian. Scream at the Sky. Raise your horns. And we're back, everyone. Here we are tonight with Scream at the Sky. More of the band than we've ever had on at once before. That's for sure. We got Dave, Brian, and Jeff. Everybody here. And
what up?
Very exciting. Thank you guys so much for joining us and taking the time. It's been way too long since I've gotten to talk to you. Jeff, this is the first time we're meeting, so this is really, really great to finally meet you.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely. My pleasure. Brian told me when we were getting on there that you were the guitarist in the video for Scream It, or what was it? Sorry, Brian. Save yourself. I almost called it Scream at the Sky. That's still one of my favorite tracks by you guys ever. Like, right. I still go back to that one constantly. Yeah, it's a banger for sure. And you guys, of course, on January 14th just released a brand new song and a brand new music video called Hard to Talk. That is out right now for everybody to check out. Link in the description below. And I noticed that you guys have some dates coming up in March and in April. So is there anything off the top real quick that you want to plug?
Yeah. So we're going to be playing with our homies in Hemlock from Las Vegas.
Nice. Hell yeah.
30 years of Hemlock, been a band since 93. We're going to play in our hometown, first show of the year, Houston, Texas. We're going to play at Cadia Bar. Jeff's going to play with us. Fucking OG lineup, which is going to be super killer for us. Like, it's going to be amazing. And then it's going to be my birthday bash too. We're just going to throw my birthday the same time and just have all the homies come.
Yes.
We're going to, and then we on the 17th, we're going to play with Hemlock again at the Rail Club in Fort Worth. We're going to open up the show, but we're going to hoping all the homies show up early to see us. And then on March 18th, we're playing in Abilene, Texas at the Zone. So that's some stuff we started with for the year. It's our first 3 shows of the year, so we're excited.
That's amazing. The birthday one with Hemlock, that's going to be a fucking rager, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah. We're ready.
That's going to be awesome. You know, it's fun. Have you heard about this movie that came out last year called Vengeance?
No, I have not.
You haven't heard of this? The whole, like 99% of the movie takes place in Abilene, Texas. And it was one of my favorite movies of the year last year. It's kind of a murder mystery. I don't know. I just thought I've never heard anybody else talk about Abilene before. So I just thought that was weird connection. But also not only all that do you guys have, you have a new bassist, Bundy. The last time I saw you guys, in 2021, I believe, it was just you and Dave. You guys were a 2-piece at the time on tour. And fucking sounded amazing. And then you've been touring a whole lot in 2022. you've been literally, as far as I can tell, from coast to coast, basically throughout the entire country. And so, how is Bundy a new regular member?
Yeah, Bundy's a pretty permanent dude for us.
Nice.
He's made every show last year with us pretty much since he started. And I met Bundy on the road. He was a road dog. He worked for Puddle Mud and Tantric when I worked for Trapped.
Oh
And
wow. Okay.
yeah. So he was already kind of like a road dog, and he just fit in. I mean, what do you think, Dave?
Yeah, man, dig him a lot, man. He's got a great stage presence, great on the road to hang out with. I mean,
That's a big part.
majority of the time you spend on the road, only a fraction of it's on the stage. So how you handle yourself off the stage is a big key to it too. So we get
Absolutely.
along with him, and again, great bassist, great on stage, man. We really dig him a lot.
Yeah, and he plays Spectre bassist. Shout out
Ooh.
Spectre bassist. So that's bassist the choice that I play myself. So we just kind of like clicked. It was like, "What's up?" You're like, "Get in the bus, let's roll."
That's great, man. That's, I mean, someone going on tour with someone and them being a good hang as well is like, that's a huge factor because, yeah, a big chunk of the time you're on stage, how you handle yourself there. But then also, are you cool to hang out with? Do I want to spend all this time on a bus or in a car or something like that with you?
Yeah, yeah.
That's definitely a big factor.
We've had some here and there's with some people through the past,
Oh,
and
I know.
one of our first tours with Jeff, we took a guy out and he's our tech, and he just raged out, man. And Jeff got his little taste of a rager, and they're just like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
There's some characters out there.
Oh yeah, we've run into our share of characters. It's hilarious, man.
It is part of this game, though, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
just something that's going to happen along the ride.
Oh, dude, yes.
So yeah, all right. So you've got a new member. You've got some dates upcoming. This single, Hard to Talk, is this a standalone single or is this part of something upcoming?
Uh, well, we have like a whole album written
Okay.
and recorded.
Okay.
Me and Dave basically wrote it here in our own home studio, and then I was like, Jeff, you gotta like come do all the guitars on it. And Jeff had heard a couple of the songs, but he like was like, all right, here we go. And we sat down and slayed it out for a couple of days with some guitar tracks, and we got a whole album written. So we want to drop it, but we just got to have the right amount of cash to get it out there and get it to the right places. So we're trying to do like singles and videos as much as possible. And since it's our first full length, we would definitely love to like get a vinyl of it. Like, got a lot of vinyl fans out there and have like a real cool pressing of it. So it's like a lot to try to figure out. But the album's written, and I think it's a new direction to Scream at the Sky.
Okay.
Definitely, a lot of the way that music is released these days has changed too. So we're kind of taking a little bit of an approach to right off the bat while we're getting ready to put the whole album out is to focus on a single at a time at first, and get everything in place to properly release the full album. And so that things have changed favorably towards that style these days too. With a lot of the ways bands are releasing music a single at a time rather than a whole bunch of music at once, kind of maximizing what they can get out of the music they have written.
Absolutely. And honestly, you guys are like I've talked to a lot of bands in similar positions where they have a few releases beforehand, whole lot of touring under their belt, lot like able to generate a whole lot of buzz and have something done and more or less ready to go out. They just want to be a little bit more patient with it and wait for the right moment and the right time and the right process of release. Like a lot of bands that I've talked to are kind of just taking that more, I think a bit more of an educated approach to it, like kind of like just slowing down a little bit and like, how can we do this the best possible way where the most possible people will hear it and etc. So yeah, I think, yeah, that's awesome. It's cool that it's done though. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, we can't wait. It's like we've listened to these songs so many times that you get sick of hearing them, and then you're like, you listen to them so many times that you think like, oh man. And then you play them live and you're like, holy shit, this is fucking dope. Like, wow, that's a banger.
You have been playing some live then?
Yeah, we went actually we after we came home and from one of our tours, we did a completely new set list and added with like 4 new songs.
4 or 5 of them are songs from the new album.
Yeah, we're at that point. We're at the point where we like have like some hits and we have some good songs where people like they're like play this song, and if we don't play it, they yell at us.
Yeah.
And like then we're at the point where we're like, all right, boys, we're time to show everybody some new stuff. Like, let's see if they like it.
Yeah, I have a song I really like that I yell at Brian if I don't get to play it a lot too.
Oh, is that off the new record?
It is. Wait, no, Last Blue Day is off of our.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite to play. So we always give Brian a hard time if he doesn't put it on the set.
No, that's awesome though. That's another aspect of it that a lot of other bands have told me, that like even though the record is like basically done and stuff like that, like they get to kind of play some shows, play a couple new tracks live, see where the live beats are, see what people react to and stuff like that. And especially for you to come back and do it in front of your hometown crowd. I mean, that's like that reminds me a lot of like what a lot of stand-up comedians say, like how they like to practice stuff that way, like be in front of the smaller audience and work the jokes out, find where the beats are and stuff like that. So that's I think really another really a good example of a smart way to do it, I think.
Yeah,
especially if you can, a lot of people can't. So
for sure.
But Jeff, since this is the first time I've had you on the show before, there are like some questions that I usually like asking people I've never been able to talk to before. So you got how long have you been working with Screaming the Sky then?
Since the beginning. Yeah, Brian and I go way back, playing in bands together, and I've known Dave for a long time too. We've all played in the same music scene. And Brian, our band and another band that he was in both kind of went on hiatus, and he was just like, I want to front a band. I want to do this. Brian's never been one to kind of sit idle, right, so to speak. So he's always moving, constantly evolving, and he was like, this is my idea. This is what I'd like to do, and I'd like you to be a part of it. And I have other obligations, so I couldn't commit full time. And he was cool with that, which is awesome, because it's great that I still get to be a part of it. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, since the beginning, I've been here and there. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of guy, and it's a blessing for me. I love it. I love being a part of it. It's awesome. These guys are brothers.
That's absolutely
for the record. We would love for Jeff to be on the road with us every day and all the time. Like he would be our dude, like straight up out. Like it would kill every day. But like I said, he's a busy fella, so unfortunately, he's a behind the scene guy with us.
Yeah, they're always asking constantly. Every time I see Brian, and I hate to have to say no, but I would love it, if I could.
Hey, for every 1,000 no's, eventually there'll be a yes. So hopefully someday,
Right.
And it's really amazing that you still want to be like involved and even be behind the scenes and stuff like that. Just as just because you love it so much. That's
of course, awesome, man. And it's not even just the love of the music, right? It's the love of this band.
Yeah.
The camaraderie, the guys that are in it, they're great dudes. They really are. And it's a valuable part of life to be a part of something like that.
Absolutely it is. And I know that like Scream at the Sky typically you guys don't really refer to yourselves totally as just a metal band. A little bit more than that, play a lot of different styles of music, but I assume all of you are relatively metalheads. So Jeff, what would you say, like, how did you get into heavy metal to begin with? What's kind of your heavy metal origin story?
Oh, dude. I actually come from a country music background.
Okay.
And my brother was a metalhead, straight up, handed me a tape back when they had tapes, had the Metallica Black album on it.
Okay.
And that led me to, listening to all of their older stuff, Kill 'Em All, just getting really into it. And then as years went on, I developed a love for early Slipknot. And that just kind of drove me right on into the heavy side of everything, And I still love all kinds of music. I play all kinds of music. Metal is probably my passion when it comes to there's nothing else like it when you play it live. You know, listening to music and stuff like that, I can listen to everything. I can play everything. But playing straight heavy music has just got a different feel all to itself.
Yeah, definitely. That's yeah. Usually, it's a brother, it's an uncle, it's somebody like that handing someone a tape. Like for me,
Yep.
it was for me it was similar. Actually, it was my uncle got me into kind of like started because I was kind of into like hip hop and stuff when I was like in elementary school. So not really into it. That's just what people around me listened to. So that's what was on my CD player.
Right.
And he eventually like showed me a little Rage and then immediately moved into Metallica and Megadeth and so on and so forth. So
Down the rabbit hole we go.
down the rabbit hole. And my cousin and I kind of like came up in it together. And he's the one that showed me a lot more, starting, all the black metal, Lamb of God, everything else. So, and man, there are some, what do you guys, this is a good question for everyone. What do you guys think of everything that's like kind of going on in the scene right now nationwide with all these massive fucking tours and festivals being announced in the last like 2 or 3 weeks? This Milwaukee Metal Fest shit is blowing my mind. I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
Yeah.
But
I see. I see a lot of these tours coming out, and that's super sweet. We'd love to be on some of them.
Fuck
and
yeah.
like it's like all these bands touring and stuff, like since nobody toured during the COVID era and stuff like that, but now everybody wants to tour. So it's making it extremely hard, like on some of us smaller guys with like hitting venues up, and a lot of venues have like 7 and 8 holds on them already. And just like, we have to take a harder approach, and we have like tours that we're ready to announce and stuff, but we're still trying to plug some last minute dates on them, and it's making it harder. It's dope to see all these badass bands out. That's so kick ass. And we always say support our homies. So it's cool to see all our homies out touring, all our homies playing these big shows and stuff like that. But it's making it really hard this year to actually get out and tour as an indie style band. And I'm sure a lot of bands will tell you that, like struggling to book just in the booking side and getting not even anything else to do with it. That's just the start of it.
Right.
I've definitely seen a large trend in these really big festivals going on too. And, I think that it's become like almost a new way that the people out there paying for these bands to go on. Yeah, I think it's a huge moneymaker when you've got 30, 40, 50 of some of the biggest name bands that you can see all in one spot. And I think it's one of the ways that they're using to get lots and lots of people into one place and to be big money generators. And I think it might have been a trend that, like Brian mentioned, kind of started with the lack of touring during COVID. It seems like these bigger, larger festivals came back with a vengeance when that kind of wrapped itself up. And I have noticed it as a trend, that most of the bigger, huge shows, like that, pardon me, have started branching up way more than I used to remember seeing. There used to be 1 or 2, 3 a year, and now it seems like there's one a month.
Yeah, I got to say on that, I agree with both of those guys. I think they're catching up for a lot of lost time. But I will say there's one band I know for sure during COVID that stayed on the roads, and that was those two guys right there, Brian and Dave. Scream at the Sky, man. Go out there, wear your mask, wash your hands, and go see a live show. And that they were the ones doing it. You know what I mean? So my hat is technically off to them.
Yeah, they were. Of a lot of the bands I talked to, I've had on this show, you guys, Scream at the Sky, and I only know of really one other one, but they were kind of they're shit, what do they call it? Oh yeah, Kill the Imposter down there in Florida. They kind of kept, because they could still play in Florida and stuff like that, so they kind of kept going. But seriously, that is a huge thing, like, and you guys were able to do that. That's really, really good. And the other part of it, COVID is still a factor, because even though it's not, really, like, we don't have to do all the same restrictions here and stuff like that, it is still a factor in terms of bands coming back and forth from other countries. And I actually was listening to part of a podcast earlier because, like, just for example, at least with the Milwaukee Metal Fest, Jamie Josta is the one that owns that now, and he's the one putting that on. And he had the former owner of it on the newest episode of this podcast, and I was listening to it earlier, and he was talking about how like it's just like a lot of bands like can't make it to the US yet because of some of their restrictions. And so it's also like a whole lot of US bands just kind of like, and we've never really had much like that before. Like Dave said earlier, it used to be like maybe like Rock on the Range, like, stuff like that, like a couple things here or there. But now I mean, we've got like a small handful of mini Vakens all over the place. And yeah, it is definitely a big money generator, but I think it's also positive for, hopefully it turns out to be positive for the bands as well, and they all have good experiences.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you're getting lots and lots of exposure when you get to these, more than you would on any normal tour. So you play one show rather than a 30-day run, but you're talking tens of thousands and sometimes more at some of these festivals. So the exposure can be great for some of the bands that manage to get on these.
That's the other part of it too, is these all have been popping up in the, like, yes, in the wake of COVID, but also in the wake of losing things like Mayhem, Warped Tour, and every touring. Like, we no longer really have any touring festivals at all.
Right.
No more Ozfests. There's Not Fest will do something once in a while, but that's not really a festival. It's like 4 or 5. It's just a normal Slipknot show. Like, which is fun and fine, and I love going to see Slipknot like every time, but it's not like an Ozfest, or
it's
a
not
Mayhem.
an all-day festival, right?
Exactly. Exactly. It's an evening show. Like, it's just a normal show. But no, I've been really, in the past couple of weeks, I've been really fascinated by just the amount of announcements across the board that I've been seeing. Like, there was one day where I was texting Aaron like all day, like, oh, here's another one. Oh, here's another one. Like, it's wild. It is wild. And especially like this stuff, with a lot of these bands having recently gone through a lot of crazy shit, like, with the Black Dahlia stuff, and and a lot of bands that are like still going and everything. Like, it's pretty cool. I don't know. Hoping for the best. Hoping high tide raises all ships, right? So in the last year, like you said, Brian, you guys actually went on multiple tours last year, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Which one? And then when were you guys last in Michigan? That was like in November-ish, right? Something like that. Yeah, somewhere around there. And sadly I wasn't able to make it. I apologize for that. And that certainly will not happen again.
Hell yeah.
Because I was really bummed I had to miss that one. But so on those tours, I'm sure you guys played with a handful of people you never played with, and a lot of venues you've never been to. Any like notable experiences? Anything that like sticks out?
I'm trying to fix my audio here. Something happened.
Oh, you're all right. Oh shit! Now my camera's flipping out. Don't worry, it'll come back in a second. I don't know why it started. Yeah, it's super creepy. Yeah, I don't know why it started doing that like 2 days ago. All of a sudden,
mine's like, mine's so quiet that I can barely hear anything.
Oh damn, that's odd.
So, can I leave and come right back?
Yeah, sure. Just follow the same link back in. I'll talk to Jeff for a second. All right. Jeff, all right. So kind of, you already told me like the Scream of the Sky origin story, the heavy metal. Oh, so you're a guitarist?
Yep. I play in this band, I play guitar.
Have you ever played any instruments for any other bands?
Yeah. I actually play a little bit of everything.
Okay.
But probably one of the most notable ones was a band I was in. Brian and I were in Black 13. I was the vocalist for that band.
Oh, he's mentioned that to me before. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what's your in your experience, what's your favorite thing to play then?
Man, I gotta say it's a toss up between playing guitar and singing because
Vocals.
when you're on a mic, you know, you can kind of control everything. And while it's kind of funny because when I'm not on a mic, I'm extremely reclusive. But when I'm performing, I can't seem to shut my mouth, and it's a lot of fun, you know. And then you know, crowd response, they're singing it with you. It's
Yeah.
super awesome. It's a great feeling, you know. You're on top of the world, and then the reclusive side of me steps in and likes to just keep in my own little corner and play the guitar and do what I do. And so I would say out of everything, it would be a toss up between those two.
Fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would agree. I've never played guitar on stage. I've only ever done vocals, but guitar is my favorite thing to play nowadays for sure.
Oh yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
of fun. You
Yeah.
get very creative. I like it when Brian gives me a call. He's like, "Hey, I got some new stuff, man. Come and throw your thing on it," you know. And
Hell yeah.
so he allows that full creativity. So it's a lot of fun.
Excellent. Brian, can you hear us now?
Yeah, we're back. We just
All
got
right.
quiet.
Nice.
It's all good. So yeah, anything that like you any like wild news stories that you have from the road in the last year? Or anything just notable, like notable bands that you want to shout out or venues even?
Well, shout out to Lydia Can't Breathe. We went out on tour with them guys, Kyle and his whole crew. Super rad dudes. Like, we would love to go out and tour with them again,
Mhm.
like, real soon. Um, Shout out to all the bands that we've been out on the road with that have blessed us with their presence and hung out with us late nights and drank all the beers and smoked all the weeds and all the other cool stuff that we've done, you know? So, like, definitely, like, shout out to them. We, uh, we want to like see more bands out on the road with us, but like I said, it's harder and harder to tour. So it's like, and we see so many bands, it's hard to name every one of them that we've ever toured with.
Oh no, yeah, for sure.
We do remember every band that we can.
And a lot of those like wouldn't there have been a lot of like local bands that you would just like not necessarily be on tour with, but like they'd play the same show? Because I felt like
With us,
yeah.
like here in town.
No, like when you're out.
On the tour, like the locals from each show.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah. Yeah. We have a ton of cool homies that, you know, we try to hit. Like when we're in Salt Lake City, like Andrew Boss and his crew over there, we like to hang out with them guys. And we're in like Illinois, shout out to the homies in like Darker Than Fiction. Oh, yeah. We're always like, we did a small run with them. If we were up like in the Dallas Fort Worth area, our homies Ultimatum, and our homie DP at Heavyweight Cartel, they definitely like help us a bunch. We like our homie James Gelber, which helped us on this album. He's out of Florida now. He's original Texan also. We like to always give a shout out to him because he helps bring our complete vision to the final product after we do that. And what you hear, we write and record all our own music. So, but when it comes down to it, like James Gelber puts his like little magic little tip in there and he just stirs it around.
Oh, so he's like a producer? Or...
Well, he's kind of like a producer. He's just a guitar player and another friend that we just like. Okay. He's better at like everything than we are. He's like this mastermind genius, and like I just make like noises with my mouth, and I'm like, all right, and he's like, and he like can understand my like hillbilly accent talk on what I'm trying to tell him because I don't know like little terms when it comes to like writing music or anything. So I just make noises. Okay. And I'm like, this is what I hear. I want this bass drop to go like shake the whole place and stuff like that. So like, always he's like the guy that like understands my language on when it comes down to it. Like if I can't figure out how to make the noise via like my computer or some kind of instrument, he like helps me create the image out of my head on what's left. A lot of stuff I have almost perfect. Like there's times when James like, Brian, this song's perfect. It's great. And then sometimes like, what can we do to make this a little bit better? And he's that guy when I just say, all right, I make a noise. And he's like, yeah, I got it. All right, yeah, this is it. And I'm like, that's it. So shout out to James Gelber.
He can pull the sounds out of your head.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. It's
Yeah.
really and sometimes that's really important to have, especially like there's been short, very small situations in my life where I've had people like that can kind of like, you don't really know how to articulate it, but like they can kind of pull it out of you, and it's just like, oh my God, yeah, that's it. Like whenever you get to create with someone that can do that and you have that kind of chemistry, that's very special.
That's how me and Jeff are a lot. That's why we always write together. We're just used to writing with each other, and we're not afraid to hurt each other's feelings. We're like, nah, that sucked. You can do that better, dog.
Well, it's kind of funny though, because actually no feelings ever get hurt. When an idea is brought up, we tend to both like that idea and just move forward with
we're pretty like on the same page when it comes down to it. Even Dave, he's like, yeah, that's probably what I would play. I would change a couple things, but sometimes we all just kind of write, so we already know how each other plays. So when it comes down to it, it's like, here you go, here's something. But we always try to take it to the next level.
Absolutely. And are you, if you don't want to say, it's totally fine, but is there any, in what ways are you going in a different direction with this next project, if you're willing to say any of that? You don't have to reveal too much or anything.
It's going opera.
Yeah, we're gonna go full rap rock opera. Yeah, smooth jazz. I think that's the same I like to call it.
It's gonna have a ton of harp in it, like tons of harp.
And violin. Yeah, and I heard somebody say triangle, but I was like, all right, we'll try it. I mean,
think that was Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cowbell's starting to get overplayed, so we're
you can never overplay the cowbell. You can never overplay the cowbell.
Well, we gave it a shot.
We tried.
Always need more.
It wasn't for us. We tried something. We're gonna try the triangle. Just as much tone.
But is there anything like specific like that you want that you could say without revealing too much?
Well, like we're gonna like do our best to put out as much music as we can this year, tour as many dates, play as much time.
Well, no. I just meant like in the direction with the next album. Yeah, music wise.
Oh, so yeah, we always write what comes out, but like I said, we're not a metal band, but we can be metal as much as we can. So we do have, I would say there's a lot of heavy songs on the new album, I would say, in my opinion. But there is a couple like it's gonna throw you for a loop. Some different, like I did some piano versions of a couple original songs off some of our first album. We have a couple features on the album also from like family members and stuff like that. So we the new album is called Stand for Yourselves.
Really?
So yeah, that's the new album.
All right.
So it's 13 songs. That's another thing. Like I said, we decided to go big or go home. We didn't do 5 or 6 songs this time. We just did 13. What's up? We just wrote some songs, maybe 12, maybe 14, 15. I don't know. You know, like our homies in Hemlock, their last album, they dropped like a double album. And I was like, just 2 CDs of just like gangster songs for like 2.5 hours of your life. You just got Hemlock. So like, I would say the possibilities are endless on what we might do, but the new album is, I think it's going to be good. It's a different direction to Scream at the Sky, yes, but it's still just us. It's like me singing, and it's like me, like, I don't know. I always think I just sound like myself, so they're going to know it's Scream at the Sky. A lot of electronics, a lot of techno, hip-hop beats, but with that metal rock and punk rock edge.
Yeah, it definitely still has the same recipe, but it is definitely evolving into something very big.
Yeah, we're on our 3rd year as a band, so the first year we did almost 100 shows, and then last year we did like 70 shows. So I evolved as a vocalist. I feel like there was some brutal stuff. I had some stuff I wanted to say, and like I needed to say. So there's going to be some like sweet fucking songs that some people are going to get, and some people are going to be like, "Damn, that song's badass," but someone's going to cut you like a knife.
No,
So
that's definitely one thing I would say that you, one of the reasons why you guys stick out to me so much as a fan with your first two EPs. You have already figured out a sound where no matter what, in any situation, someone can put literally any one of your songs on for 3 seconds and that's Scream of the Sky.
Yep.
Like instantly recognizable.
It's not a good day to be a bad guy.
What's up, metalheads? This is Wayne.
And Michelle.
And we are from the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. And you are listening to
Burton and Aaron on the Lost in the Dark podcast.
Raise your horns.
Hello, my friends. My name is Burton, and I am the host of the Michigan metal podcast, Lost in the Dark podcast. And I would like to introduce you to an all-new, all-paranormal podcast called Follow the Reaper, where I examine all true first or second-hand listener-submitted paranormal or unexplainable encounters of any kind. So if you or anyone you know has a story that they would like to share or have shared on the show, please reach out to us on social media or Gmail at Follow the Reaper Podcast. I would love to hear from you. And of course, please enjoy this episode of Lost in the Dark. As you guys specific, it's such a unique sound. Like it really is to me.
We try to do weird shit, man. Like I'm like, sometimes songs start with just a little noise for me. I'm like, sometimes I can see like 6 steps ahead in the song, and I'm like, all right, I hear that already. And sometimes the right noise comes when the song's almost done. There's just this noise that comes over the top, and I'm like, whoa, that's it. And always been a big bass fan, so bass drops, like people are like, oh, you can't do too many bass drops, and bass drops are like, nah, you don't do that. I'm just like, you know what? Like, I like bass drops. I want to shake the floor. I want it to like shake your like all the beers off the wall, you know? Like I want it to get down, especially on a live PA.
This is metal. I want it to be thunder. Like
yeah, bring the thunder.
Bring the thunder. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I am very excited. I'm happy you guys are gonna like, take your time and release it in the right way they want. I think a vinyl pressing would be fucking awesome. But I am very excited to hear it either way. I think you're right. I think it's going to be really good. Your first two EPs again are regularly on rotation in the shit that I listen to like on a weekly basis. And there are definitely certain times where I'm in a certain mood and I'm like, there is nothing else I want to hear right now besides Scream at the Sky. So there are tons of moments like that. So you guys are definitely onto something. And I feel like, I don't know, there's just, there are definitely a lot of times where I'm driving around like, this is exactly what I need right now. So
yeah,
it rules, man. It rules. I love it.
I want to say also that like with the new album, as which any Scream at the Sky album, we produced what we tried our best to as a positive message. And positive lyrics, and that's why the band was created. So like as much positivity as we can put. Like I said, some messages that are put out there because it's what you need to hear. Like I said, but we want everybody to have like a positive vibe coming from what we write. It's never a negative like we hate somebody or anything like that. It's more of like a what's up, learn your lesson, and like be like, what's up, get up and slap yourself around and move on. It's time to fucking stand up and be awesome, And
that same feeling, that vibe, that message is so heavy and so wonderful when people get to come see you live, because you really do such a great job as a front man, like putting that out there. And like you even like, because again, I saw you guys as a 2-piece, so you like throw stuff back to Dave and he like responds. You guys, the chemistry and everything and the message and the vibe, all of it really comes together live. Like it really does.
Yeah, we sound as close as we can on our album live. Like I said, we put all our stuff, but I think that's the cool thing about rock and roll is that raw vibe, man. The mess ups, the little stupid shit that people don't notice, or when they do notice, they're like, "Oh man, I seen you do that. I seen you mess that up." You know, that's we even laugh about that kind of shit.
Absolutely.
Like, take for example, we were talking about Dave was saying how his favorite song is "Last Blue Day," and our last show was Dave's birthday in Houston, and his foot pedal broke, and I was like, "All right, fuck you, Dave. We're gonna play the song anyway." He's like, "Well, my foot pedal's broke." I was like, "Let's do it." So we played "Last Blue Day" with a single kick pedal for the very last song, and Dave had to tear it back up back there single bass, and they're looking at me like what the fuck? I was like, "Said y'all want to play Last Blue Day? What's up? It's coming on."
Yeah, he made me play it anyways. So I of course went out to the crowd going, "Man, that last song only had my single bass pedal." And they were like, "We didn't notice." So I don't know if that was good or not.
See, we laugh about that. That's the kind of stuff I like about live raw music right there. Nobody gives a fuck, dude. They just like to hang out and hear good tunes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was a fan before I was a musician, and I can definitely say that the energy is what you're looking for there. You're looking way more for a passionate performance over a perfect performance, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a really good way to put it, actually. Yeah. That's absolutely, I mean, yeah, I've definitely seen plenty of shows where something screwed up, but like didn't matter because they were there for it, you know?
We break shit all the time, man. Strings break. We had like on one of our last tours that we were out on, I think we were in Missouri, and both my fucking guitars broke, and I just frontman the whole fucking show with the guitar player we had at the time, and then Bundy, and then Dave, and they're looking at me all like, "What are you gonna do?" I was like, "Let's do this, boys." I set the guitar down and I just frontman. It was like a really cool feeling for the first time to just be like throw down without a guitar.
So yeah, so that was the first time you were ever on stage singing without a guitar.
Yeah, I never done that.
You didn't feel like naked or anything. Like it was exciting.
It's weird.
Yeah,
I
would feel so like
it was extremely weird.
I wouldn't know what to do with my hands. Like
I tore it down, dog. I was like, "What's up?" Like I felt cool.
You hold invisible pumpkins.
Yeah, I would like. I would love to have 2 more guitar players and try that one time where I was just singing. You know, like "What's up?" Like I would try that. That would be fucking cool. Yeah. I would have to learn. It would be a whole new evolution of learning. So
definitely. Yeah.
Because I always had to learn how to be like awesome with a guitar and stand in one spot and sing, where you just didn't look like some lame dude that just stood there. So like it would be definitely a weird like "What's up?" But like when I don't have to sing, I like to throw down like one side to the up and down and break shit. I'm ready. You know.
Yes. Well, I do have another question for Jeff real quick. Guitar player. I've already the first time that Dave and Brian were on, I asked them the same question. What do you like to play? Like what's your favorite like guitar and style of guitar stuff?
Like the instrument itself, guitar?
Yep.
I'm a big fan of BC Rich and Dean.
Oh yeah, love them.
Yeah, huge fan of BC Rich and Dean.
I personally am a bit of like an LTD ESP guy because my guitar god was Alexi Laiho, and so I love like the Randy Rhoads style Jacksons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously his signatures. But no, like Dean. Dean was always one of my favorites. Dave Mustaine. You know, I love Dean guitars, and BC Rich. You know, growing up when I was younger, going to guitar centers and shit like that, they were always the most metal looking guitar. So they were always cool, you know.
It's funny because I don't know, they just work well for me. I've played many different kinds of guitars, and there's a lot of really good ones out there. But those two really do, I think, collaborate well with me.
I don't know if you fought like how up to date you are or whatever, but recently in the past couple of years, I've been noticing BC Rich come out with some new lines, a little bit more on the high end side that are spectacular looking.
Oh
Like,
yeah, they play amazing too.
Really, you played some of them?
Yeah,
that's fantastic. I kind of always wanted to see that. So I started seeing that. I think like kind of during pandemic is really when a lot of that started. And I was blown away. Like every other day they would post something on their Facebook and I would send it to my cousin like, dude, look at this thing. Like,
oh yeah.
Great
I love
guitars.
BC Rich. They've got great tones. Dean is really good, as well. I love their tones as well. And just the style of playing that I play, like I said, it just collaborates well with me. I mean, yeah, you can break out a telly and play some country twang if you want, but with that heavy sound that I normally like to play, Rich and Dean can both handle it.
Have you used both of them on the Scream at the Sky albums or EPs?
No, with Scream at the Sky was always BC Rich.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, using the most metal guitar.
seven string BC Rich at that.
Yeah, got my lucky 7.
Nice. All right, that's sweet. I've never played a 7-string, to be honest. I've only ever played 6s.
It's fun. You should totally do that.
Yeah.
I even went out on a whim and got an 8-string.
Oh wow.
And not that I'm a rusty coolie or anything, but I got an 8-string, and I told Brian, I was like, shit, dude, if it ever came down to it, and you can just get an 8-string, play that 8, and you don't need a bass player or another guitar player. You just got everything all right there in your hands.
Pretty much. That's kind of what it is.
Just play it all, and then Dave's gonna sing.
Yeah,
yeah. It's a lot of fun.
And play the drums.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I've seen it before.
Oh yeah,
can be done.
Definitely.
So yeah, like I mean, really, like, was there? Oh wait, actually, no. I did have another question for you. I did have another for everyone. Are you guys all like fans of? Well, yeah. What do you guys think of like this? Okay, 2 questions. Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. What do you guys think of this? Because I'm kind of asking everybody this just because I'm genuinely curious because I don't really know where I land on it totally. I have had I've had people tell me things from both sides that I kind of see. Where do you guys kind of land on like this Pantera reunion? Reunion in big.
I think it's a tribute. I would label it
tribute.
As a tribute.
That's better. That's a better word for it. That's a better word for it.
I mean, me personally, right, and listening to Pantera practically my entire life.
Same.
I've always loved Pantera. Don't get me wrong. Diamond Vinny were a huge influence on its originality.
Yep.
I love the guys who are filling in on the tributes, and I think that there should be a fine line between the two.
That's fair.
But that's just me.
I think that's fair.
I would say that I would go and definitely see it if I could afford it on my poor mechanic salary. Like $500+ of tickets and stuff is just out of my price range.
Is that the one with Metallica?
Yeah.
That's the only time they'll be up here in Michigan too, and I'm like, I can't fucking afford that shit.
Weirdly, I was listening to the local radio station here, like about 2 weeks ago. I was getting my coffee and I was listening, and this dude was like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "My name's Jesse." And he was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And he's like, "Oh, Montgomery, Texas." And I was like, "What? Who's like, what the fuck?" And my brother won my 2 pair of Metallica tickets and Pantera tickets on the local radio station. And I was listening to it and I was just like, what the hell? Like it was just a weird coincidence, but that's like Pantera thing. I would definitely go see it. And I'm a big Zach fan. So
me too.
Yep.
Big Charlie fan too.
Yep.
I pretty much share the same opinion as Jeff. One of the probably the best show I've ever seen. I would be willing to say in the late '90s was Prong, Sepultura, and Pantera together. Pantera was one of the.
Whoa. You saw
I
them in the
don't even,
late 90s?
yeah, I'm an old man, so I've
Dude,
seen
that's amazing.
yeah here in Houston. Like I said, probably the best show I've ever seen. Just based on the crowd, how heavy it was, how much energy was going. Pantera was at their peak at the time, and it was just probably one of the most influential shows I've seen ever before I ever even thought about
Man.
becoming a musician. That show had a huge impact on me, and I can see where lots of bands continue on playing the music that they did without all the original members.
Mhm.
And that's probably what Pantera's taking advantage of that now, but they'll never write anything again. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
how to refer to it beyond that. Some people call it a tribute, and I can lean that direction myself too. I can also agree with the people that are very excited to see the music playing live, and I agree with that too. But I know that the heart of that band, it doesn't exist any longer, and there won't ever be any new Pantera or anything of that nature. So
Yes.
that's where I stand on that myself.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I like how you said you're excited for the people that get to see him, because I do have a really good friend who is he's a young guy, real young guy. And I only met him through the podcast, and he lives down in Alabama. He's the guitarist and vocalist for the band Victims of the System. And he is when was he? He was like probably 5 years or so away from being born by the time Dime died.
Oh, wow.
And Dime is his biggest, like, it's his guy, it's his version of Alexi to me, and kind of a thing. And so for him, like, this opportunity to be able to see them, and I don't even know if he'll be able to go. I know he's gonna try, but he's like, I want to go because I never had the chance to see the originals. This is the closest I'll ever get as a human. And so I'm excited for them. You know what I mean? And it is a show I would, if it wasn't so fucking crazy expensive, fucking Metallica. If it wasn't for that, I would definitely go, because those dates are all kind of, the routing is weird. Like, when you actually look at all the dates, like, it's all like jumbled together with like the Lamb of God Pantera tour and the Metallica Lamb of God Pantera tour. It's all kind of like meshed into the same thing. Very strange routing. And I was really hoping, I always said that Pantera was kind of the next Metallica and Lamb of God was kind of the next Pantera. That's kind of like how I thought of them as I was growing up and discovering these bands. So yeah, like, it's definitely fucking something I would love to see. And I think it's going to be a really successful thing for them. And I think it's very possible that what we're seeing right now is just really a first and second leg of what might be a much longer tour to be announced in the future.
Yeah, I think they've been talking about putting a lot of shows together. So, I mean, right now, I'm sure, with Metallica, of course, it's going to be very expensive, but we're all going to get the opportunity to go out there and check it out. And I don't know if you guys have been privy to watching a lot of the videos, but Phil is on point. The guy's,
I have,
he's hitting it. Rex is amazing as always, so it definitely will still be something amazing to see.
I don't know if you guys follow Gibson Guitars on YouTube, but they've been coming out with like full on like hour and a half long documentaries on stuff. And the most recent one was all Rex and about Pantera. Yeah. It is fantastic. And I cannot recommend it enough. You should definitely check it out.
I certainly will check that out. Yeah.
It's just free on YouTube on Gibson Guitars YouTube channel. Kind of wild, actually. Well, here's another question. Here's, since Dave brought his up, and I've already asked Brian this, Jeff, as a fan, what kind of was like the most influential to you, your favorite concert you ever went to?
Oh boy. I've been to a lot of them. Um,
Me too.
That's a hard one to give one answer to. But
I know.
it's really, really hard.
Give it
But
like top two or something.
I'll say this. I mean, while I've been to a lot of really good shows,
Mhm.
I did one time go to Dallas and saw Lamb of God at the Palladium Ballroom. And what was cool about it was that you could literally just walk up to the stage, put your arms up on the stage, and just watch it. And that was
Oh,
probably one of the best shows I ever been to live. It was amazing. Got to meet them all afterwards, and very humble guys, super cool, great band. And this was with the original lineup back in the day. This was like 2006, I think. So it was amazing. It was awesome. It was really awesome.
so you saw him like Ash's Philadelphia era.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
that was if it was like
Sacrament.
2005 or so Sacrament was out by then. All right.
Yeah, it just came out. They were touring
That's
it.
right. That's right. Okay. Yeah. I always, for some reason, I get that confused. I always think Ashes came out in 05. But wow, man. Yeah, that's
It was amazing.
just
It was
to
amazing.
there have been a couple of times where I've had the opportunity to see great bands like Cannibal, Goat Horror, like just a handful, Hatebreed, just a handful of great bands where it is a situation where you can just like put your arms on the stage like that.
Yeah,
It's so fucking surreal when you
that's the
get to do
best.
that. Oh
Yeah,
man. Oh,
when
doesn't
when we wrote the first Scream at the Sky album in Lubbock, Texas, when we went to go finally record it with James, we actually took like a break night and we went and seen Goat Horror and at Jake's back door at this little tiny club, and we got to fucking chill with all them fucking dudes. Man, they
it
were
was pretty
fucking
awesome.
fucking Goat Horror.
they're so cool. They are some of the nicest guys. They really are. I've met them. I've met them briefly, just like in passing, like, hey man, great set kind of a thing, like twice and like maybe changed a couple words. But I like they are like kind of champions of like the smallest venue you can possibly play. They will
Oh yeah,
play it. And yeah, and I remember the first time I ever saw them, I think was on like the Metal Blade 25th anniversary tour. They're opening for Cannibal Corpse. And it was like a, it was a venue the size of a small gymnasium kind of a thing.
Hmm.
And but they spent the entire time, every single like song, for the entire song, the lead singer was just high-fiving every single person he could in the crowd. It was
yeah.
like the most crowd interaction I'd ever seen at that point in time. And they blew my mind. Ever since then, I've been a huge fan. Like, it was amazing.
Badass.
I had never owned an album by that point yet or anything like that. That was my like first exposure to them. And yeah, oh, man,
That's
one
the
of my
coolest thing,
favorites.
man. When you see bands do stuff like that, because
Yeah.
it's the whole point of going to a live show is to bring the crowd in
Yep.
and make them a part of it. You know what I mean? And I think it's crucial anyone who fronts a band um, to make sure they're interacting with that crowd like that. Absolutely. It
Yes.
leaves a lasting impression. I mean, look, listen to what you're saying, right? So
Exactly. Exactly. And God, and and that's the thing about going to like kind of what you guys were what we were talking about earlier about how all these really big shows and everything like that are being announced and all these festivals. That's a really great thing. I think for the scene in general and everything, but it's making it harder for you guys to book stuff. And I don't think that's a good thing at all, because a lot of those experiences that I've had in my time going to shows were from the local shows,
yeah,
like
so
those
smaller
crazy fucking
venues,
nights. Yeah.
it's more intimate. You're right
Yeah.
there with each other, and you just throw down the big festivals. You're about 20, 30 feet away from even getting
Yep.
close to the stage, and um, you hope that they have the sound up loud enough for you to hear it. Where in those smaller venues you can literally feel it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, shake the walls.
That's why metal is the best, you guys. This is why
Shake the
metal is the fucking best, because what other genre of music gets to even have a conversation like this? Like,
Yeah.
there's none. There's literally none where like you feel it in the same way. It's as visceral and like just powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's addicting. You know what? My phone is going off. I'm sorry because I'm getting some breaking news right now. Apparently, actually, people are texting me that Ozzy Osbourne has won Best Rock Album and Best Metal Performance at the 2023 Grammys. So I just wanted to mention that real quick because my phone won't shut
Long
the fuck
live
up.
the king.
Yes,
Right?
the fucking king, the
He
prince
just
of
recently
fucking darkness.
retired. Finally, though, I think I read.
Yeah, he did. He
From
did.
from touring, yeah, because he's not he's sick.
Yeah, he needs to rest, man. He's been doing this for longer than any of us can really imagine, man. He's been putting the work in. That's for
I've
sure.
seen Ozzy so many times, and I tell you what, every time was like a new experience. The guy was amazing.
Every time, dude. It's
One of the
unbelievable.
pioneers.
It's unbelievable. Like everything he's done. Like he's always been one of my favorites. I've always said like it will be like a oh wait, what's the word? I forget which like damn it, I forget which like I don't know if it's a religion or culture or something like that it is that has like a 7-day funeral in darkness. I was like, I will be alone in my room for 7 days, lit by nothing but candlelight. Nobody will be able to talk to me once he's gone because he's the prince of fucking darkness and he's the father of heavy metal. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge Ozzy fan. Huge. He was even on like because his son Jack has been doing a lot of like paranormal stuff with the Travel Channel lately. He's got a few different shows and stuff like that. One of them is called The Osbournes Want to Believe, and it's just him, Ozzy, and Sharon sitting there watching like YouTube paranormal videos and reacting to them, basically, and it's fucking hilarious.
Mystery
It's
Science
so
Theater
good.
fucking edition.
With Ozzy, yeah,
Yeah.
it's exactly what it is. That is
Love it.
exactly what it is. Oh man, it's really good. If you have the Discovery Plus or whatever, it's on there. Actually, that's a good segue to one of the last questions. Jeff, this is everyone that's on the show for the first time. I do have a kind of a final question I like to ask everyone. Have you in your life or anyone you know ever had an experience you would describe as paranormal?
Oh, man. That's a loaded question.
A little bit, because it could be anything. Like I'm not just saying ghosts or UFOs. It could be literally, Bigfoot, whatever,
Well,
or just anything weird.
I've always been a spiritual person, and I have had several incidences throughout my life. Call it real, call it not, whatever. It doesn't matter. I've experienced it,
And that's what matters.
and that's what matters. It's not anything that I ever go and just talk about because no one would ever get it unless they had the hair standing up on the back of their neck themselves.
I am somewhat of an amateur ghost hunter.
You should come to my house.
I've had a handful of experiences I would describe as paranormal, and I have a lot of friends that have as well. And so this is stuff that I've the reason why I asked this on a heavy metal podcast is because heavy metal and paranormal are kind of my two passions.
Mhm.
So it is something I'm very passionate about and ready to believe. So
Yeah. I mean, just from hearing voices that isn't there make you think you're a little crazy in your head when you know you're not. I'll give you an example. One of the weirdest things that I have here in this house is I moved here a few years ago, and when I first came in, there was this red yoga ball just in the living room. Kind of strange, right? Whatever. I'm like, okay, well, someone left it. So I put it in the closet under my stairs. And every now and then, that red yoga ball is rolling around the floor in the living room. I'll come home from work, and there it is, rolling around on the floor. And it's just kind of strange, little things like that.
like, is it like one of the big ones that you like sit
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
What the
And
fuck?
I have nothing to do with it. I don't do yoga. And I just always kept it because I thought it was kind of cool. It was weird, when I first moved in. And I keep it in a closet with a closed door. And somehow the door opens and it comes out. Strange.
Yeah, that's wait, would it you said you kept it under the stairs. Would it have to go like upstairs to get to the living room or
No, no,
oh
it's
okay,
it's,
okay.
it's under, yeah, under the stairs. Right there's kind of like a big opening, um, where the living room is.
Okay,
And
okay.
so the door just opened by itself. And I've had the doors upstairs too. They'll open and close by themselves sometimes. It's kind of strange.
Interesting. And you've had experiences your whole life
Oh yeah.
similar to that? Anything outside of like a kind of a what you could call a ghost or spirit situation?
What do you mean?
Like I don't know, like UFOs or cryptids
No,
or anything like
no,
that.
no. I probably saw a satellite crash into another satellite. Looked like a UFO when I was a kid.
Oh,
That's all I could chop it up to. Me and my dad, we were building a roof, and we took a minute. It was getting dark, and we were just kind of looking up. I love looking up, and saw one star going in one direction, and it looked like a star, and another one coming in the other direction. And I showed my dad, and he was like, "Yeah, check that out. It could be a UFO." And then they collided. It got real bright, and then they went away. And I'm like, "Yeah, probably a UFO." Until I got a little older, and you learn what satellites are, and could have been two satellites. It could have been something else. Who knows?
and you just saw it with the naked eye?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that is like satellites do look like tiny moving stars.
yeah.
I could totally see that being. And this would have been like in the 2000s, the 90s,
No, this was definitely early '90s.
early 90s. And then all right, yeah, that totally like
Yeah,
they didn't know what they were doing with satellites back then.
exactly. They're just learning to drive.
Yeah, exactly. They had no idea what was going on. I'm sure there's a
But I've
lot of
never
them
seen
crashing there.
anything
It's wild
else. I've never seen anything else crazy.
though. In Brian and Dave, in the last year on the road, have you guys?
Yeah.
No, not really.
No, man. We just
I mean, there's a whole lot of like haunted venues out there and stuff that I always hear about.
Saw those
oh
pictures from the Alarosa.
yeah. When I was in Dead Horse, I played Alarosa Villa where Dime was shot at, and I had a really crazy experience in like the little room where they had drug Dime into, and like the back and the floor was painted red. And I got to talk to the owner, Rick Cantella, I think was his name, and like it was a really crazy vibe there at that place, dude. And, like told me stories about how stuff falls off the wall, and they always see a little trickery going on in that place. And then like we took a picture with Jason, my guitar player at the time, and like this like Jason has like two sets of eyes, and it's like really creepy picture, man. There's like a shadow figure standing in the back, and like I have this picture, and like I'm like, man, that was a really creepy place to play before they destroyed that, man. But it was a great place to play. But man, the vibe, there was definitely some ghostly figures in that place.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's typically what the connection is with extreme traumatic experiences and things like that. So that is wild. And you have the picture still?
Yeah,
That's crazy. You should post that sometime.
I will.
um but really honestly, let me look here and make sure. Yeah, that is kind of like everything I had to go over. I've already had you guys on for over an hour now, believe it or not.
Rock and roll.
I usually like to I usually like to keep the guest episodes like to around an hour just because just because of YouTube, and those are the ones that get the most views, and I want you guys to have as many views as possible. So I usually like to keep around that. Is there anything else that any of you wanted to get into at all tonight, or anything like any more plugs? Anything at all? Keep in mind, I'll do an intro and outro where I'll plug the shit out of everything. So,
Yeah. I'd like to say that we are, as a band, looking for a full-time guitar player.
Okay.
Somebody to come out, be on the road with us and stuff like that. It's a tough road out there, but we are looking for a full-time guy. And if you know anybody in the area that wants to fucking throw down with a touring band, tell us to hit us up. Let's see what you got.
Maybe
And
two, so Brian can just sing.
Yeah. Maybe 3 guitar players. If we could be that cool one day to have like 3 guitar players. Look forward to some new music. Fucking we're shooting for a track a month. Boom, there's you another little hint. We're planning on a West Coast tour, hopefully. Fingers crossed, everything goes well. We'll see West Coast soon. And always stay in the clouds and support your homies.
Any chance you'll be back up maybe in the Michigan area this year?
We're hoping for Michigan Metal Fest this year. We worked our ass off last year. We won 3rd place in the dirt bag thing. So
I voted for you guys every time.
We're hoping for Michigan Metal Fest. Shout out to them. Shout out to Scorpion Percussion for always supporting us, and Dirtbag for always supporting a do-it-yourself band like Scream at the Sky. And so we definitely hope to be up there for that. And we're hoping to at least July and August maybe come up and do a Midwest tour, and we definitely would love to visit Michigan again.
Hell yeah. I love it. I love it. Thank you guys so much, all of you. Jeff, it was wonderful meeting you. Dave and Brian, it's always a pleasure getting to talk to you guys, man. I every time we go this long, I end up missing the shit out of you guys. So let's not let it go this long again. Next time you have a new song out or anything, of course I'll do a reaction. And anytime you want to come back on, any of you, to promote anything or just shoot the shit about metal, I'm happy to do it. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Appreciate
the support
you getting us and other local projects and stuff, man.
Oh, my pleasure. You guys make it really easy when you are relentlessly touring and come out with nothing but awesome shit. So you guys make it easy for me. But all right, thank you guys so much, and hopefully we'll have you back on again sometime real soon.
Heck yeah.
See you soon, buddy. See me soon.
Oh yeah, horns up.
Horns up.
And that's it. That's it. I mean, like, it's one of those things where it's like, in doing this podcast, like I've gotten to meet a lot of people that I would have never met otherwise. And every time I get to talk to every single person, I haven't had a problem with any single person I've ever had on the show ever, knock on wood, but ever. Like, everyone I've ever had on the show is I consider a friend at this point. And, sometimes we go a long time without talking. So every time I get the chance to talk to some of my friends again after it's been a while, it's always special. And so again, one more time, Scream at the Sky, according to what you just heard, fingers crossed, we got a new album coming out this year, hopefully at some point. Hard to Talk, the brand new single, came out January 14th, live on YouTube and all platforms right now, iTunes, Spotify, everything. Link in the description below for all things Scream at the Sky. And that was just a great one. I absolutely can never thank them enough from the bottom of my heart. These guys are road warriors. These guys are constantly out there, constantly touring, constantly doing stuff. And for them to take any time at all to sit for an hour or so and talk to me means the world to me. So thank you guys so much, as always, for being on the show. And for everybody I've had on this show before, and especially, of course, Scream at the Sky, I consider the Lost in the Dark podcast as much of a home for you as I do for me. So anytime you guys want to come back on, this is your home too. And you are welcome here anytime you want. So thank you again so much, guys, for being on the show. Again, Scream at the Sky, links in the description. That's going to do it for this episode, my friends. Thank you all so much for joining us for this conversation. I hope you all check out all things Scream at the Sky. And as always, we will be back again very, very soon with so much more. I actually recorded an episode earlier tonight that you guys are going to love. So, and that'll be out very, very soon. But until then, my friends, raise your horns and bang your heads to some motherfucking Scream at the Sky. I love you all to death. Good night.
Lost in the dark.